Welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite a load of source material today. It's a really dense exploration, military conflict, cosmic chaos, some deep moral questions, all pulled from Dust of Dreams.
That's right. And for you listening, our job here is to kind of cut through that complexity.
Right.
We're zeroing in on these huge, almost cascading power shifts, really focusing on two main things. First, the catastrophic failure of the gods, frankly. And second, how different groups are coping. You know, soldiers, alien races, everyone dealing with reality itself just breaking down, especially the reality of death.
Right, let's unpack that. And we really have to start right at the top, cosmically speaking. The core knowledge here is about the pantheon itself. It kicks off with this meeting of, ancient powers. We've got Mael, god of the seas, Kilmandaros, the elder goddess, Errant, elder god of chance, and Olorethel, matron of the Imass Bonecasters.
And the setting for this meeting is key. It's not some grand temple. They're gathered around this massive altar stone, but it wasn't just broken by time or something. It was deliberately chiseled, split right in two.
Deliberately broken. Wow. So that's a symbol then.
Exactly. That fractured stone, it's like a physical sign of the bigger picture, the structural damage to reality itself.
And the damage report, as you put it, is pretty bad. It points to this core crisis.
Yeah.
The whole pantheon is just crashing down. The unthinkable is actually happening.
Yeah, the big one. Hood, the god of death, revered, seemed untouchable, right? He's been killed. Slain by Anomander Rake.
Yeah.
With Dragdapur, no less. And this isn't just like a political assassination, it's metaphysical. I mean, the god who manages where souls go dies. So what happens to the dead now?
That's the terrifying question, isn't it? And the immediate fallout, this is where it gets really wild. Hood's Gate, the path to the afterlife, it's locked.
Locked tight.
And the person responsible, the one holding the key, or maybe being the key, it's Tak the Younger, reborn as the Herald of Death.
Right. And we see honestly, the brutal side of this new setup almost immediately. Tak isn't some gentle guide. He's enforcing this harsh new reality. The sources give us this really tragic example with Onos T'oolan, the Imass war chief.
T'oolan, yeah, he finally earned his rest, right?
Yeah.
After millennia of fighting. And his dream of peace was so simple, so human almost.
Exactly. Just wanted to see his kin again, see the Shadowlands, the great beasts, throw a laughing child on his knee. That kind of pure, simple peace.
But Tak stops him.
Stops him cold.
Yeah.
Intercepts him right there in the realm of death. Tells him straight up, I am the lock. Blocks his path, and then forces him back to the living world. Not gently. Strikes him with an arrow, shatters his kneecap, just physically breaks him to push him back. So the god of death is gone, and his herald is actively denying rest to the worthy. It's like the natural order itself is being, weaponized.
Wait, hold on. Why would the Herald of Death prevent death? Or rather, prevent entry to the afterlife? Is he trying to save T'oolan, or is it about managing the chaos?
It's definitely the latter, and it's terrifying. Think of Tak as like a cosmic bouncer. Hood was holding back this immense backlog of souls, right? Now Hood's gone, the gates are jammed, and Tak is desperately trying to stop that flood of dead souls from pouring back into the mortal world.
Okay, so it's damage control on a cosmic scale.
Precisely. T'oolan's shattered kneecap is basically the cost of keeping that door, that broken system, somewhat contained. It's grim.
That's, profound and grim. So the old paths are blocked, new chaotic power is surging in. And speaking of chaos, the sources also highlight this rise of completely new, unstable magic, right? Icarium.
Oh, yeah. Icarium.
Yeah.
A being of almost unimaginable power. He's literally created a new set of warrens, which, for anyone maybe less familiar, warrens are sort of like separate dimensions, the source channels for magic.
And how do you make them?
With his own blood. And Fiddler's deck of dragons, reading that magical tarot deck we mentioned, it flagged this. Called it a structural flaw in the fabric of reality.
A flaw woven in blood.
Yeah. Imagine reality like a tapestry. Icarium didn't just pull a thread. He violently wove this huge, bloody, chaotic new pattern right into it. It destabilizes everything about how magic works, how existence functions. It's like a wound in reality itself.
Okay, so gods are dying, magic is breaking. Let's shift down to the mortal level. The conflict's happening under this fracturing sky, starting with the Barghast.
Right, the Barghast. Really formidable tribal people. And their story is just this perfect storm of moral decay and internal conflict. They were in this war against the Letheri, but their war chief, Onos T'oolan, same guy we were just talking about, the Imass veteran leading them, he saw the whole campaign as fundamentally unjust. He was trying to be this voice of reason against, the tribal war fury and the demands from their awakened gods.
And rejecting that holy war. That doesn't end well for him on the mortal plane either, does it?
No. It leads directly to this awful betrayal. T'oolan is murdered by his own troops, specifically Bakal, who leads the Sinan warriors within the Barghast clans.
Murdered by his own side. Why?
And this is where it gets tragically complex. It wasn't simple hatred or ambition. Under this other leader, Marl Ebb, the Sinan, were being shamed, pushed into fights that were basically suicidal, leading them towards being deposed or wiped out.
So Bakal.
Bakal confessed, basically, that they killed T'oolan not to please the gods or out of malice, but to save themselves, to save their people from being destroyed under Marl Ebb's command. It was this impossible, horrific choice.
Kill their leader to survive.
Exactly. And it absolutely crushed them with guilt and self-loathing afterwards. They murdered this revered figure to stop a bigger slaughter. The ethics are just devastating.
Yeah, truly devastating. Okay, let's contrast that kind of internal moral collapse with the Malazan bone hunters, Tavore Paran's army, already branded as renegades, betrayed by their own empire.
Right. And their path, or maybe their lack of one, gets sort of mapped out in this incredibly intense deck of dragons reading by Fiddler.
Yeah.
You know, the deck reflects cosmic power shifts, mortal destinies.
And this reading is particularly dramatic.
Oh, yeah. The cards are literally slamming down, striking the readers. You see the 13 gathering points to this huge convergence of power. Specific fates get dealt. Sin, the young mage, gets Virgin of Death. Ben-Ashar, the priest, gets Fool in Chains, which is ominous.
But the biggest shock is for Tavore herself, right?
Exactly. The silence is the shock. For Adjunct Tavore Paran, nothing. No card.
Nothing. What does that even mean?
It's deafening, that absence. It doesn't mean she's irrelevant. It suggests she's outside the system. Her fate is completely unknowable, immune to prophecy, outside the whole cosmic game.
And yet this army, led by someone with no destiny card, is still incredibly effective. There's that observation from Shield Anvil Tenakalian, the Perish Observer.
Right. He noticed something crucial about the Bone Hunters' culture. Their discipline in battle was rock solid, but what held them together during the long stretches of downtime wasn't strict formality. It was their camaraderie and, quote, brash lack of decorum.
Brash lack of decorum. So their irreverence.
That's the key insight. Their strength isn't the rigid structure like the Perish have. It's that they swear, they joke, they refuse to take the hierarchy too seriously. And that shared refusal to bow down, that bonds them tighter than any formal oath ever could. When the gods are failing, what do they rely on? Each other. That's all that's left.
It's a kind of radical self-reliance born from shared experience. Okay, before we get to another group embracing self-reliance in a different way, there's that little moment of wit back in Letherus, King Tehol and Bug.
Yes. And it's relevant, I think, because it shows the ruling class trying to cope, maybe, using humor or intellectual distance to handle the chaos. Tehol, this brilliant strategist, is obsessing over his wife's bad embroidery on his blanket.
A distraction tactic.
Totally. Using this tiny domestic thing to sidestep the massive political dangers swirling around him. And he drops that classic line about people useless at everything else becoming scholars.
Yeah. It's a funny moment, but it also kind of highlights how people try to impose order, or at least wit, on a world just sliding into total war and ruin.
But the ruin is definitely coming. And that brings us to the K'Chain Shemel, this ancient reptilian, technologically advanced race. They're facing their own existential crisis, and their solution is, well, it's almost a chilling kind of internal atheism.
How does that play out? There's an internal conflict first, right? With Khalith, the Destrian.
Exactly. Khalith is like their sacred interpreter. Her matron, Gunthan Essel, tasks her with a seeking quest, go find divine help, find a mortal sword, a shield anvil, these legendary champions. And the matron herself admits, we remain broken. I remain broken.
But Khalith doesn't think she's up to it.
She protests, says she has no talents for this kind of spiritual mission. But the journey itself changes her perspective entirely. She realizes the whole quest is pointless.
Why pointless?
Because the gods are either irrelevant, fighting their own wars, or just gone. Seeking divine help is futile. So she returns, not with a divine champion, but with this stark, terrifying mandate for survival. Which basically, forget the gods. She told her people, find your faith in each other, look no further. The gods will war, and all that we do will remain beneath their notice. Stay low.
Wow. Stay low, ignore the heavens.
That's the K'Chain Shan solution to cosmic chaos. Dismiss it. Focus on yourselves, rely on each other, survive under the radar, find unity in your own brokenness, essentially.
Okay, so that's their internal response. But there's also an external K'Chain threat, right? The No-Ruk.
Oh, yes, and these are different. An alien army, described with reptilian features, Iron weapons, but significantly no banners, no culture, no identity, just pure military machine.
Alien, efficient, and powerful.
Immensely. They arrive in these giant flying sky keeps like Ampelis uprooted. They're just laying waste to warrens, the magical realms themselves. And terrifyingly, they're actively hunting down and killing dragons. They are a force of pure technological destruction.
Okay, that's horrifying. And there's a twist, right? Connecting them back to the Malazans.
This is a really surprising bit from the sources. This unstoppable Naruk army. They've captured 2 Malazan veterans, Gessler and Stormy, and forced them to lead their army in battle.
Wait, Gessler and Stormy leading the Naruk.
That's the ultimate, maybe perverse shift in power. These 2 hardened Malazan soldiers, forged in battle, known for their resilience and, yes, their brash lack of decorum, their experience, their tactical skill, is now being used by this utterly alien destructive force. Their power, born of camaraderie, is now weaponized against everything. It's both divine in scale and completely coerced.
Okay, let's try to synthesize all this. We've gone from the highest god of death being dead, reality itself fracturing with these blood warrens,
Right.
to seeing the only real paths to survival seem to be either that intense mortal camaraderie like the Malazans finding strength in their own irreverence, or this chilling, almost forced atheism of the K-Chain Destrian, telling her people to just ignore the gods entirely.
And it really circles back to that observation Bryce Beddict makes about heroism and morality being just messy. A confused thing of innumerable sides, he calls it. Noble intentions, courage. They can just as easily drown a kingdom in blood as save it.
The outcome often overshadows the motive.
Exactly, especially when the devastation is so total.
So, for you, the listener, what's the takeaway here? We've seen the old gods fall, new kinds of immense, unpredictable power rising up, and it's often wielded by the least likely people, right? A boy, Grub, seeing the cracks in reality, a captured corporal, Stormy leading an alien invasion, a dead man, Talkit, now the jailer of the afterlife.
Yeah, and in all that cosmic failure, the most reliable thing seems to be self-reliance, whether it's the Malazan soldiers leaning on each other, joking in the face of doom, or the K-Chain deciding to just stay low and tune out the heavens altogether.
So here's a final thought to consider. In a world where an army literally fights better because of its brash lack of decorum, because they don't blindly follow the rules, is knowledge the real weapon, knowing these structures are broken?
Or is it something else?
Or is it the collective refusal to believe in those structures of power anymore, divine, imperial, whatever? Could that refusal itself be the most transformative and maybe the most dangerous potential of all? Something to think about.